From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
And good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. The time right now is 4:27 here. It is your Friday. We finally made it. And Nicole Griffin is joining me in studio again. Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Lauren. Good morning. Happy Friday. So happy it's finally Friday.
Oh my gosh, me too. We do have a lot to get to this morning, though. I want to kick things off with a story from down in Bloomington. We've been talking about this, and we learned more yesterday about this university there recommending that students in Greek life get out of those houses and live somewhere else this semester of school anyway. That's due to the high number and high positivity rate of COVID cases on the Greek houses. We know that 30 of the 40 houses are under quarantine on the Bloomington campus, but that's leaving a lot of students saying, well, where am I supposed to go? And this is kind of partway into the year to try and find somewhere else to live. So a lot of logistic issues there, and we're going to be talking more about what they're doing, what some other schools are doing to kind of stop the spread of COVID-19 in those houses.
And Lauren, we know the pandemic has caused many events to get canceled across central Indiana, and one of those events that was postponed, originally scheduled for July, was the Cops Cycling for Survivors bicycle ride. So that was postponed to September, but then they realized they really couldn't move forward with the original plan. So this Saturday, they're going to do the entire ride in just one day. And there is a way for the community to come out and get involved, support law enforcement officers, fallen law enforcement officers in our state and their families. So we'll have all the details on that coming up. But now let's get a check of your forecast. Meteorologist Todd Clausen standing by. Todd, walking out the door this morning. It feels really nice.
We told you it was coming there, Nicole. The air mass has flipped here. Gone is the humidity that we've been dealing with at times here throughout the week. It wasn't a super humid week as a whole. There were some days where the humidity was a little bit lower, but nothing compares to what we'll be feeling throughout the day today with virtually no humidity and temperatures that'll be really, really comfortable. We're sitting in the 50s and 60s right now, ranging from 54 in Logansport to 68 in Bloomington, but radar is completely quiet. There's just still a little bit of cloud cover out there that'll burn off here this morning, and then we will be left with nothing but sunny skies here throughout the day today. Did we mention the humidity? It remains low, and overall, it's a fabulous Friday for us for the beginning of September. Doesn't really get much better than this on September the 4th. We'll talk more about your Labor Day weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Something else we got to talk about is the holiday weekend and some safety concerns after we've had a spike of COVID-19 cases after other holiday weekends here. So Kelsey Anderson's going to have some tips of how you should keep you and your family safe this weekend. That's all coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
We need to get these kids back to normal, at least closer to normal.
Parents in Hamilton County making it clear they want their students in the classroom. Now at 4:30, the steps school officials took to making that one step closer to reality. Plus,
I know they live in tight spaces, so of course the virus could spread a lot more easy in a space like that.
Well, the coronavirus continues to impact Greek life at IU's Bloomington campus. This morning, the recommendation by university officials that could leave students scrambling to find a place to live.
And the pandemic hasn't been all bad news. How one restaurant owner came up with her latest idea while in lockdown. It is 4:30 here on your Friday morning. Thank you so much for joining us here for Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin.
Nicole, great to have you here. I'm Lauren Casey, and Todd Clausen is standing by from home. And Todd, you have great news as we're heading into our Friday.
Yeah, not only Friday, but the holiday weekend. It's really going to be a nice one. If you do have any plans with the family to get away or just maybe stay here locally and grill in the backyard, any day you choose this weekend, it's going to be fairly good. There'll be some subtle changes as the weekend goes on. We'll dive into those in just a little bit in Maine weather, but let's talk about what's happening outside right now. Pretty big temperature spread still, 54 in Lafayette, 63 in Indianapolis, and still close to 70 degrees in Bloomington. And the reason is just a little bit more in the way of cloud cover still in southern locations as this front still is working its way through. There were just a few spotty showers out there yesterday evening, And you can see the band of cloud cover that stretches with this front all the way through southern Indiana. It goes all the way back up into portions of New England. So we'll start off partly cloudy this morning, but once the sun comes up, we'll burn these clouds off pretty quickly that are out there, and we'll be left with mostly sunny skies. Even if you are seeing a little bit of cloud cover this morning, they will not produce any showers. So we're in the 60s. It's a much cooler start than we've seen. Around 73 degrees by the time we get to the 1 o'clock hour, on our way up to a high today of 78 degrees. We'll talk about the rest of today and a look ahead to that Labor Day weekend in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now as you're heading out on the roads, kicking off your Friday morning commute. This is a live look at I-465 and West Washington Street. We're over on the west side of town right now where traffic is moving along up to speed. Not monitoring any crashes or issues here to slow you down. Of course, throughout the morning, we'll keep you updated on any delays or areas you need to avoid this morning, but it is pretty quiet around the metro area at this early hour. New this morning, Metro Police are investigating a crash on the city's northeast side. The crash happened around 1:30 this morning near 56th Street and Allisonville Road. Officers say the driver and passenger were injured when a car they were in crashed into a utility pole. The driver was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The passenger in the vehicle was also taken to the hospital. They are expected to survive. At this point, alcohol is not believed to be a factor in the crash.
A Central Indiana school district making a big decision in the debate over in-person versus virtual learning. The Hamilton Southeastern School Board voted 4-3 to move students in grades 5 through 12 back into the classroom in a hybrid plan. The plan was already in place for kindergarten through 4th grade to start after the holiday weekend. School board member Amanda Shira says the calls for all students to return to the classroom were loud and clear.
We get hundreds of emails every week and we read through them, and I have them in files in different categories, and parents, 86% of parents want the students back in the schools, and the teachers are best equipped to teach.
Well, parents we talked to say they are comfortable sending students back to a physical classroom after seeing how other school districts are navigating the pandemic. They say remote learning can be overwhelming at times.
Thinking as an adult, this is pretty hard to read through all the emails, make sure you get the passwords right and all that stuff. And they're doing a great job. I respect the kids. I can speak as an adult. There's no way in heck I'd be able to do what they're doing.
This week, the Fishers Health Department moved its COVID-19 community scale to moderate risk. Mayor Scott Fadness tweeted out about the move, calling it an opportunity for kids to attend school.
This morning, IU Bloomington officials say fraternity and sorority members should consider moving out of the Greek housing. This announcement comes as COVID-19 cases continue to spread inside them. At this hour, 30 of the 40 Greek houses at IU are still under quarantine. University officials say that some houses have a positivity rate of more than 50%. University leaders say that the tight quarters inside the homes make them an unsafe option. Students on campus say that move puts them in a tough situation.
I think that's really hard, especially because it's only been like the second week, so everyone's just now starting to get settled in. So to have to pick everything up and go find a place in such short notice is really hard.
I think that the corporations and the national directors need to step up and think about how they are going to help the students and their families move to other settings, or really figure out how they're going to make their houses significantly safer.
University officials say right now they aren't seeing the same type of spread inside residence halls. In a statement to WRTV, the Interfraternity Council at IU calls the recommendations, quote, irrational and dangerous.
Meanwhile, Indiana State University officials have issued a moratorium on Greek activities at the school. School leaders say the moratorium is because a disproportionate number of Greek students are in quarantine due to COVID-19. It includes a temporary pause to meetings, educational sessions, trainings, and social gatherings of any size. Virtual recruiting is also included. University leaders say the moratorium is a proactive step in preventing a major outbreak. There is no timeline on when the moratorium could end.
At 4:36, let's turn now to the latest numbers on the coronavirus outbreak here in the state of Indiana. This morning, state health officials confirmed more than 1,100 new coronavirus cases. Since the pandemic began, nearly 97,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19. Health officials also confirmed 4 new coronavirus deaths. Since March, more than 3,100 Hoosiers with the coronavirus have died.
The coronavirus pandemic has forced dozens of central Indiana businesses to close up shop, but despite the restrictions and economic hardships, some businesses have opened during the pandemic. That includes Apocalypse Burger in the Meridian Kessler neighborhood on the north side of Indianapolis. It opened in July and is part of the Patachou restaurant family. The owner came up with the idea during the stay-at-home order.
She was just kind of sitting around with her family talking about what she really wanted in this time of uncertainty, and the general consensus was just a really great burger. So this concept was kind of developed.
The restaurant started as carry-out only. Patio seating is available right now with plans to open indoor dining soon. You can find a list of newly opened businesses around Indianapolis by downloading the WRTV app.
Well, the Labor Day holiday is just hours away, and it's a big weekend on the campaign trails. Straight ahead, how the 2020 general election takes a big step forward today.
This weekend, the community will come together to remember fallen law enforcement officers from across the state. Coming up, how the coronavirus pandemic is impacting the annual event and how you can take part. Todd.
And after a couple days in a row with temperatures that were in the 80s, a cold front arrived yesterday evening. It's in the process of ushering in cooler, less humid air, which you can see to the north. Look at Lincoln, Nebraska right now, 48 degrees. We have a couple cool mornings for us, but very pleasant afternoons. We'll talk all about it coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast right here on Good Morning Indiana.
Welcome back. The time right now is 4:41 on your Friday. So the Labor Day holiday weekend is the final stretch of the campaign season.
As ABC's Inez de la Quatera reports, the first voters will receive their general election ballots today.
Overnight, President Trump speaking to a throng of tightly packed supporters in the key state of Pennsylvania, openly mocking Joe Biden for wearing a mask.
Did you ever see a man that likes a mask as much as him?
This as Biden continues to blast the president's response to the COVID-19 crisis.
They don't want to talk about all those people who have died from COVID. They don't want to talk about the fact that almost 1 million people again file for unemployment, don't have jobs.
The president eager to turn the page.
Hopefully rounding the turn on the pandemic.
And looking ahead to November, but now facing criticism for suggesting voters in Pennsylvania and North Carolina vote twice, which is illegal.
These mail-in ballots are a disgrace, and they know it. Sign your mail-in ballot. Okay, you sign it and send it in, and then you have to follow it. And if on election day or early voting, that is not tabulated and counted, you go vote.
Meanwhile, as racial unrest continues in some cities across the country, Joe Biden touching down in Kenosha, Wisconsin, meeting with the family of Jacob Blake and speaking with Blake himself from his hospital bed.
He talked about how nothing was going to defeat him. He was not going to give up.
Biden denouncing the recent violent turn protests have taken, but also blaming the president.
I thought you could defeat hate. And when someone in authority breathes oxygen under that rock, it legitimizes the dark side of human nature.
As the campaign season kicks into full swing, today the first ballots of the 2020 presidential election will go in the mail in North Carolina as that state becomes the first to start voting. Inez de la Quatera, ABC News, Washington.
Inez, thank you. And this weekend, the community has a chance to memorialize fallen law enforcement officers in Indiana and make sure their survivors know they are not forgotten. The 19th annual Cops Cycling for Survivors bicycle ride was originally scheduled for July, but was postponed to September due to the pandemic. In a typical year, active and retired officers, along with the survivors of fallen law enforcement officers, bike 1,000 miles across Indiana over the course of 13 days. But this year, it will take place in one day, and it will happen this Saturday. In 2019, there were 2 line-of-duty deaths in Indiana. Chief David Hewitt of the Rising Sun Police Department and Trooper Peter Bo-Steven with Indiana State Police. We talked with a lieutenant at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy about why he takes part in this event.
Well, one of my best friends was a police officer in Texas who was killed in the line of duty. So I've been directly affected, and I know what the survivors go through. It's one of those things that there's an outpouring of public support whenever an officer is killed, but it's just human nature that dies out. But the survivors are left with a huge hole in their hearts for the rest of their lives. So we want to make sure that that hole in some small way is filled.
The event will start at 8:30 tomorrow morning at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in Plainfield. Families are encouraged to come out for any amount of time up until 5 o'clock to ride on the emergency vehicle operations track. Money raised goes to help memorialize officers killed in the line of duty and help surviving family members and co-workers of those officers. It is 4:44, and Todd, if people have plans outside this weekend, what can they expect?
You know, as we go throughout the weekend, lots of sunshine here in the forecast. One thing you will notice as the weekend goes on, and I think this is the subtle difference, it'll get a little bit warmer each day, and the humidity will come back a little bit each day. But today, virtually no humidity out there at all. It is going to be a terrific Friday for us. A live look outside from IMS, and you can see off in the distance the skyline. The past few mornings, we've been dealing with some dense fog advisories across the area. Not the case here this morning. 63 degrees, the current temperature in Indy, the good indication that the cold front that we talked about yesterday is now through the area is the wind direction. The wind out of the northwest now at 9 miles per hour, and that's what's helping to bring in the cooler, more refreshing air. The front's still in the process of working through. It's 54 in Lafayette, 55 in Peru, but as you work your way southward, we talked about the temperature in Indy. Go even further south, Bloomington's at 68, Bedford's still at 70 degrees, so that's a 16-degree temperature difference between Lafayette and Bedford, and that's because to the south there's just a little more in the way of cloud cover still across the area, and as we go throughout the morning hours, our temperatures will drop another couple degrees before sunrise, which is a little after 7 o'clock, and then soon as the sun comes up, we'll start to see our temperatures moderate very, very quickly. Here's the satellite radar picture, and no rain with the clouds, but as you can see, there's still a little bit of lingering cloud cover around, and it's just still part of that front that's working its way through the area. But the clouds will continue to push to the south. The sun will come up. It'll burn these thin clouds off very, very quickly. So we'll go from what we call partly cloudy this morning to mostly sunny this afternoon. In fact, you'll be hard-pressed to find any clouds as we get into the afternoon hours today. That's how nice it's going to become. Temperatures will be a little bit below normal today, but very comfortable in the mid to upper 70s for most of us. And if you do have plans this evening, I would maybe grab a light jacket. You may need it, especially once the sun sets a little after 8 o'clock this evening. We'll be in the 60s, and then open up the windows tonight, turn off the air conditioner. Everybody's down into the 50s as we start off your Saturday. Saturday is still a terrific day with nothing but sunshine from start to finish. That's a picture of Ogle Lake there in Brown County State Park. State Parks will be a great place to be tomorrow, and really Sunday as well if you're going camping. 82 degrees tomorrow, so it's a touch warmer. And then as you look at your 7-day planning forecast, as we work our way into Sunday, we're up to 84. Humidity comes up a little bit, and then Labor Day is pretty hot, up to 87 degrees once again. There could be a spot storm on Labor Day, but for the most part, we're dry with partly cloudy skies. And then once we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, that's when things get a little unsettled and showers return to the forecast, as well as eventually cooler temperatures once again by Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads this Friday morning. Taking you down to the south side, this is I-65 and I-465, the interchange there. You can see traffic is picking up already this morning, traveling up to speed. No crashes, no delays right now on your roads to slow down your commute. It is 4:48 this morning. A new study is revealing possible coronavirus risks to pregnant women. The study shows that pregnant women diagnosed with COVID-19 don't always show symptoms, but they are more likely to be admitted into the intensive care unit after a COVID-19 diagnosis. It also found that pregnant women with COVID-19 are at an increased risk of delivering preterm. The research added pregnant women are included in the list of people at moderate risk.
Coming up, he has style on the court and plenty of style off it. How the Pacers' Victor Oladipo has tailored the way he looks. It is 4:48. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us. Welcome back. There's a lot that comes with being an NBA player: hard work, endless practices, and demanding schedules.
But a player's style can mean everything. Before the